Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm the Gobby Englishman. I have a few opinions. I'm a teacher, an English teacher. I've been living abroad for the best part of a decade. I'm not an expert, I'm not a politician. I'm just a bloke with a brew and a bloody opinion. Have you noticed that the moment you say something that someone disagrees with, it could be a group of people, it could be an online chat, it could be in person, but you say something about a particular issue that you feel is relevant. If it doesn't fit what the majority of people in that chat or in that situation, the crowd, what they think, you can get slapped with a label straight away. You're an extremist, you're right wing, you're far right, you're a bigot, you're all these things, yes? Nazi, a fascist, and all the other expressions that people use. Not to express what they believe are your actual beliefs, but what they're doing is they're using it as some convenient way to shut you down, to silence you. They think calling you a fascist, calling you an extremist will cause you some kind of shame and you'll stop talking about it. Nobody likes to be called a bigot. Nobody likes to be challenged for having beliefs that are perhaps not in line with the majority. But what if you're just someone who's paying attention? What if you're just someone who's thinking for themselves? You don't have to be extremist. You don't have to be holding to views that are somehow dangerous or that are somehow designed to cause emotional or physical harm to others. Let's be clear, disagreement isn't extremism. It's healthy. It helps communities to thrive. But nowadays, if you say anything that sounds like a challenge to the established order of things, if you say something that sounds like it is questioning the progressive views of so many, you get boxed in, as I said, as this right-wing loony who wants to see the end of everybody who's not white Christian believer in the Lord. And that seems to be how you get labeled. Before anyone even listens to you, they've already shut you down. Take the example of immigration. You might say, I'm not against immigration, but we need controls to make sure that the system is fair to everyone. Suddenly you're a racist. You don't like black people. You don't like brown people. You don't like people who aren't, as I said, white Christians. But that's not true, is it? There's no room, but there seems to be no room for nuance, yes? You're a racist and that's it. There's no room for reasonable discussion about resources, about community, about the effect on the local population, about security. The moment you question immigration, whatever your motive for questioning it, you're just a racist. And there's no more to be discussed with you. And that's not helpful. That's not good for anyone to have to try and seek decent change when that's the attitude of many. So you say or believe that people should, let's say, take responsibility for themselves, their decisions, rather than have the state fix every problem. And again, you're selfish, you're out of touch. Not everybody can help themselves. Not everybody's advantaged as you are, etc., etc. Words like white privilege get bandied around as if that somehow makes you a special case and you don't have anything that you have to deal with. But these aren't radical thoughts, yes? To have a balanced view of immigration is not radical, it's sensible. To say that people should take individual responsibility for the decisions they make and for where their life is heading, that's practical. It's rooted in intelligent and thoughtful considerations. I was reading recently about a nurse and she was talking about the problems with the NHS the pressures in the healthcare system. She was complaining about the long hours, the understaffing, people expecting quick fixes, but she said she's reluctant to speak about it. She said she's proud to help people, but she's tired of hearing complaints about the system when no one wants to accept it can't do everything for everyone. And again, it's not a political rant. She was just expressing her everyday experience, how life really works for her. Yes, that they can't possibly do everything. So people might get turned away. There might be waiting lists, etc., etc. And to express that thought, she feels would be somehow challenged. It would be somehow held up as somebody who is not really a caring person, not really concerned about the welfare of others, and even so much as she's in the wrong job, maybe even right wing. See, politics used to be a battle of ideas. It used to be left versus right, conservative versus Labour, socialism versus capitalism, more government, less government. Those were the arguments that used to abound in the political arena. Now it feels like a fight between the elites and the everyday people, the haves and the have-nots. You have politicians, academics, media types. They are dictating what's acceptable thinking, what we should all be doing, how we should be living our lives, often from positions of comfort and privilege. They have no real idea what it is to live in the real world, to hold down a normal job, to have everyday concerns. Meanwhile, ordinary folk, those working hard, raising families, running businesses, they're told they're backwards or they're intolerant if they see their communities struggling, or if they see matters that really they want addressing. And if they complain, they're viewed as intolerant just for wanting their voices heard. One small business owner I was reading about said he wants to run his shop, he wants to serve the community, he wants to provide a good local service for the people where he grew up. But if he were to speak about some delicate political issues, maybe it's a bit dangerous. Outside the place is not like it used to be. There were gangs, and they're mainly gangs from certain groups of people. Now he's worried about being politically correct. He feels that if he's to voice those concerns, it would get him labelled again. He could lose his business. People could take exception to him expressing his very real concerns from what he sees from his own front step. It's not coming from the streets, this fear. It's coming from a culture policing itself, afraid of being labelled or cancelled. Now, I'm not here waving a political flag. My views come from watching, working, thinking. I'm not advocating one form of government over another. I just firmly believe in free speech. People should be allowed to say what they want honestly. They should be able to think without fear. They should want to be able to, they should feel they can, express themselves without fear of being shouted down or labelled. I believe in personal responsibility. People should own their choices and the consequences of those choices. I believe in fairness. I think society should be about a level playing field, and it shouldn't be about punishing some for others' mistakes. You don't have to agree with me. As I said right at the outset, I will always say you don't have to agree with me. But when every honest opinion gets called far right, it doesn't mean those opinions are extreme. It means our definitions of what far right is are broken. Many people that I admire, that I watch online, and I subscribe to their channels, they consistently say, I've stayed here and politics has gone here. So what used to be central is now considered far right because the views have gone so far to the left, so far to the extreme. So next time you hear a view you don't like, Don't reach for a label. Don't immediately think that somebody is this or that. Try listening. You might find someone who's thinking for themselves, something we desperately need more of. Thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed the chat we've had, please like, please subscribe, and share what we've been talking about with others. Thanks again.